Actually, even riding in a car affects me enough. Of course, the worst thing is riding on top of one of those Greyhound scenic cruisers. Do you remember the time that I went to Baton Rouge in one of those? I vomited several times. The driver had to stop the bus somewhere in the swamps to let me get off and walk around for a while. The other passengers were rather angry. They must have had stomachs of iron to ride around in that awful machine. Leaving New Orleans also frightened me considerably. Outside of the city limits, the heart of darkness, the true wasteland begins.
In 1699, French explorer Pierre Le Moyne d'Iberville arrived at a bluff on the Mississippi River and observed a bloody wooden marker hung with bear and fish carcasses, dividing the lands of two Indian tribes. Here the natives were slaughtered, the women were compromised, and this bloody red stick became the future city's namesake. Since then, residents have lived under the flag of 7 nations. Well, welcome to Baton Rouge. What's the first thing to see? The Exxon refinery? The new state capitol building? What about the old state capitol building? The Centroplex? Maybe even the Mississippi River Bridge? The first thing one shows a visitor to Baton Rouge is New Orleans. It's only an hour away. As cities jockey for position in the national consciousness, their residents ascertain their own significance. Baton Rouge is envious of New Orleans, New Orleans of Atlanta, Atlanta of Seattle, Seattle of San Francisco, San Francisco of Los Angeles, and Los Angeles is envious of New York. Cities are defined by their freeways. Washington has the Beltway. Atlanta has the Perimeter. Houston has the Loop. But Baton Rouge has the Split. When Interstate 410 is complete, the Split will become the Double Wishbone. In the 2000 census, Baton Rouge had a population of 227,000, placing it at number 75 on the list of the largest U.S. cities. At the same time, the Baton Rouge metropolitan area had a population of 706,000, placing it at number 67, sandwiched between Albuquerque and Akron. However, the critical list is that of the largest U.S. television markets, and in this list, Baton Rouge falls way down to number 96, below Davenport, Waco, and Tulsa. Due to the recent unpleasantness, Baton Rouge has become the largest city in the state, perhaps permanently. Is Baton Rouge destined for greatness? It has had brushes with it before. In 1983, it hosted the International Special Olympic Games, and in 1985, the National Sports Festival. Baton Rouge was also the filming location for the 1983 Academy Award winner for Best Picture, as well as native son Steven Soderbergh's Palme d'Or winning tale of Garden District monkey spanking and its follow-up exercise in pretentious mental chicken choking. Cities are also defined by the quality of their malls, and Baton Rouge is no exception. Built in the 1960s, Bon Marché was a state-of-the-art open-air mall with 2 anchors, 2 co-anchors, and a cafeteria. By the mid-70s, the white man had completed his exodus to the ring suburbs and settled a few blocks east at Cortana, where, after displacing the natives, he built a bigger and better mall. Cortana Mall was a fully enclosed, year-round pleasure ground, with 3 anchors, 3 co-anchors, a food court, and a 3-plex cinema. Baton Rougeans fell in love with their new mall, and Bon Marché was soon forgotten. Shortly before its demolition, it was reduced to selling diapers and baby clothes.
So you just left her there?
Yeah.
So what are you gonna do now?
I don't know. I was just gonna hit the road.
That's beat. That's really good. Well, where are you gonna go?
I was kind of thinking about Texas.
Texas. Yeah, man, that's beat. That's really down. But I mean, what the hell is, where's all your stuff?
I don't have any stuff. When I get there, I'll...
While the state capitol building towers over the skyline, it is actually the Mississippi River Bridge that is a more powerful symbol for Baton Rouge youth. The interstate crosses the mile-wide river at this point. Near the bridge was a coffee shop where we drank cafe au lait, read on the road, and lived vicariously through our own homegrown cinema subgenre, the Baton Rouge hitchhiker film. These films were characterized by a protagonist, usually seen driving around the streets of Baton Rouge, who picks up a local resident / hitchhiker, ferries them west, over the river, and out of town. Drugs, coffee, and beat poetry often played a key role. However, it's true. When you are away from your hometown for long, you romanticize it.
Baton Rouge was clothed in flowers like a bride. No, much more so, like a greenhouse. For we were in the absolute South now. No modifications, no compromises, no halfway measures. Sir Walter Scott is probably responsible for the Capitol building, for it is not conceivable that this little sham castle would ever have been built if he had not run the people mad a couple of generations ago with his medieval romances. The South has not yet recovered from the debilitating influence of his books.
Saturday. It's the 69th annual Gun and Knife Show. We've got sawed-off shotguns, automatic rifles, antique handguns, leather holsters, and Confederate flags. That's this Saturday at the Baton Rouge River Center. We also have a wide assortment of camo, ammo, gun parts, Bowie knives, full-size human body targets, pictures of Robert E. Lee, and camping equipment. That's this Saturday in downtown Baton Rouge at the Baton Rouge River Center in the Centralplex. Doors open at 7 a.m. Call 225-GUNS for more information.
Thank you for calling the Louisiana State Capitol Visitor Information Line. The State Capitol building is located at the head of North 3rd Street at State Capitol Drive in downtown Baton Rouge. Its 34 stories rise 450 feet, making it the most prominent building on the Baton Rouge skyline and the tallest Capitol building in the United States. Completed in 1932, the State Capitol building replaced the aging Gothic castle structure, once referred to by Mark Twain as the ugliest building on the Mississippi. The modern Art Deco design of the Capitol building was the brainchild of Governor Huey P. Long. Ironically, in September 1935, then-Senator Long was assassinated by Dr. Carl Weiss in a beautiful first-floor corridor clad in exquisite Italian marble. The hail of ricocheting gunfire left many holes in the walls, which schoolchildren are happy to explore with their fingers. The State Capitol building has a rich cinematic history as well. Featured in the pre-war German propaganda film Architect, Hitler's architect Albert Speer extols the virtues of the Capitol building's design. Speer was particularly fond of the monstrously messianic columns guarding the entrance and the intricately carved frieze of gargoyle-like pelicans. A replica of the building was rumored to hold a special place in Hitler's study when he planned the bombing of Pearl Harbor. In the 1975 made-for-television movie The Deadly Tower, starring Kurt Russell, the state capitol building stood in for the University of Texas Tower in Austin, from which Charles Whitman shot 48 people in 1966. While Austin was reluctant to be featured in the film a mere 9 years after the fact, Baton Rouge proudly played host to the killing. The state capitol building has also been the site for a barbarous act of domestic terrorism. On a sultry April night in 1970, two anarchists, angered by the killing of 3 black men by local law enforcement, planted 30 sticks of dynamite under a senator's desk. While no one was injured, the resulting explosion caused massive damage to the ornate Senate chamber and blew a number 2 pencil up into the ceiling, which remains there to this day. You can visit the state capitol building and see the pencil in the ceiling daily from 9 a.m. until 4 p.m., except on major holidays. Admission to the building and the observation deck on the 27th floor is free and open to the public. Thank you for calling the Louisiana State Capitol Visitor Information Line.
Dear General Secretary on Drop-Off, my name is Evan Mather. I am in the 7th grade at McKinley Middle Magnet School. You probably know me because I won an Atari 2600 at the Defender Championship at Gotcha's last summer. My favorite game is Yar's Revenge. I hate my math teacher because she says I daydream too much. Please nuke Baton Rouge.
Leaving Baton Rouge was never an option. Our teachers frightened us with stories of California, its 8-lane freeways, killer earthquakes, and drugged-out hippies. They also told us, bragged actually, that because the Exxon refinery was one of the largest in the world, and the Mississippi River Bridge was a critical link in the east-west interstate highway system, Baton Rouge would be the primary target in a nuclear attack. A yellowing index card at the State Capitol Building observation deck confirmed this. Is there nothing special about Baton Rouge? No secrets or hidden treasures waiting to be discovered? Fabled U.S. Highway 61 starts in New Orleans and heads north, through Baton Rouge and Delta Blues country, winding up the Mississippi River, ending up at its headwaters in Minnesota. As its 4 lanes pass through northern Baton Rouge, it is known as Scenic Highway. Growing up in the stick, one learns that there's nothing scenic about Scenic Highway. However, hidden in the woods, just off the highway, is an engineering marvel. In the 1950s, world-famous philosopher and design scientist Buckminster Fuller, inventor of the geodesic dome, came to Baton Rouge. Here he built the Union Tank Car Maintenance Facility, generally considered his finest work, and one of the greatest buildings of the 20th century. However, it is currently rusting away, out of the public consciousness. But that shouldn't stop you from finding it. Start at the State Capitol building and head north, 11 miles along Scenic Highway, past the chemical plants and storefront churches. Take a left on Brooklawn. Head about 1.5 miles and park your car. The dome is just a few hundred feet away, but is plainly visible from the road. Ignore the guard shack, barbed wire, and no trespassing signs. This is Baton Rouge.
What is that feeling when you're driving away from people and they recede on the plane till you see their specks dispersing? It's the too huge world vaulting us, and it's goodbye. But we lean forward to the next crazy venture beneath the skies.
So, you been doing much writing lately?
Matter of fact, things are going pretty good. Got a few books published last week.
Still writing about those European militant transsexual lesbian poets?
No, man, teen novels. Teen novels. Kerouac's dead.
My name is Evan Mather. I daydream too much.